Hi and welcome from beautiful Augsburg city. I'm delighted to welcome you today here to our standard webinar for our product Baramundi perform2work. And what's the topic today? We want to talk about optimized endpoint performance for efficient IT and satisfied end users with our digital employee experience tool Baramundi perform2work. I'm Carolyn. I joined Baramundi back in January as a product marketing manager for our proactive hub and therefore for Baramundi perform2work. And I'm joined today by my colleague Sandra.
Hi, thanks. So also warm welcome from my side. I joined Baramundi in last November as a customer success manager, and I'm there for you to help that you can use our tools very good and stay happy.
All right, what can you expect today? So to give you a short overview of our agenda. So we're going to talk about everyday IT challenges that you probably know from your own day-to-day workday. And we're going to have then a closer look into use cases, like where can we actually use Baramundi perform2work to be more efficient, to help our end users be satisfied with the IT at their workplace. And then lastly, we're going to have a look into the product itself, like which functions are already there, which will come in the next few months. And yes, so you know where we're heading to. And I wanted to briefly say a few words about Baramundi as a company. So we have the motto, we want to turn our customer into fans. And as of now, we have about 5,500 satisfied customers worldwide in different sectors, industries, and also countries. And with our product, Baramundi perform2work, we are currently managing 17,000 endpoints. And I brought a really nice customer statement with me today that I really wanted to share with you. It's from a company called Schneidmann. They're located in the Stuttgart region in South Germany. And they gave us the feedback that by using Baramundi perform2work, they could reduce their tickets by almost 40%, which is really great to hear and really shows that, using digital employee experience as a tool in IT administration really helps getting more efficient and really helps the end users in the end. But that is enough about Baramundi and about the agenda. And I think I'm going to hand over to Sandra, and we're going to jump right into IT challenges of today.
Yes, thanks a lot, Caroline. So I think all of you know the everyday IT challenges we have. So we have, of course, like she mentioned already, a lot of support tickets. So they are growing and growing. But on the other hand, we have shortage in staff and also skills. We have budget and cost pressures, but on the other side, rising, we need more hardware and software, and so I think you all know it. But so these are the challenges we want to tackle with our new product. But where do we stand now? So Baramundi has celebrated its 25th birthday this year. We started and also have our main focus on the unified endpoint management. There we got our big experience in all of the endpoint related topics. But this is not all where we want to end, so we want to go further. And there, digital employee experience comes in mind, and this should also lead to resolve all the challenges I've mentioned before. So we want to measure the performance, we want to collect end user feedback, we want to take a look at the stability and also get better there, and also about the connectivity issues. So these are our two houses we currently have, and these are two tools which can work together very well, but which are also can be seen separated. So you can also use either one or both together. But let's go directly deeper into the product. You all want to hear what perform2work is about. So Caroline, what are the use cases we are tackling?
Exactly. So at the beginning, I promised you we're going to dive into use cases where baramundi perform2work can be used. And we're going to start with hardware-related challenges, problems. I brought 3 use cases with me today. And so from left to right, we have the problems of, like PC switches off immediately when not connected to like a power station, or, like your battery is super low all the time. So that's one problem. We are having a look into slow boot times. If your computer is booting and booting and booting in the morning, and it's just a waste of time. And we also have a look into CPU and RAM performance. And one of the use cases might be, you have an employee coming to you, to IT support, and says that, he wants a new hardware, new workstation, because, battery is low and boot time takes forever. And as of now, you always have the problem of like verifying those claims. So it's always like today it's more about like subjective feelings and perception instead of actually data to look into that. And so with baramundi perform2work, you actually have the data to check, okay, is the battery really low with that hardware? Then it would make sense, of course, to maybe just change also the battery to be more environmentally conscious, instead of like buying like a new complete hardware, new notebook, instead maybe just changing the battery. Or at the same time, you can check boot times and compare it to other boot times in our perform2work network. Like, is the boot time really bad, or is it actually average? And I just wanted to show you like a sample calculation of how much of a difference a change in boot time can actually mean for productivity within an organization. So, you say that a good boot time is around 1 to 2 minutes, and a bad boot time is around 3 to 5 minutes. So if you want to calculate the productivity loss per month for, let's say, an organization with 250 employees, if we say, okay, every employee waits on average 2 minutes for his computer to boot, and we multiply that by that 20 work days that we normally get in a month, that's not just 2 minutes per employee, which doesn't sound like a lot, right? But it's 160 hours if you calculate it together and like look at it as a whole organization. And 160 hours is on average the work time spent by a full-time employee. So basically those 2 minutes are not just 2 minutes, but it's actually the organization losing the productivity of a full-time employee every month. And if you look at it like that, you really can see the value of having a look into digital employee experience and using a tool to actually get data. And same goes for, if you have applications that load slowly, maybe it's an issue not of the software itself, but maybe it's an issue with the CPU or ARM. So with baramundi perform2work, you get the data to actually check if it's like a software issue or if the hardware is just not fitted for the work the employee has to do. But that's a lot of talking from my side. I'm pretty sure you want to see like how it's actually working in the product. So I'm going to hand over to Sandra, and we're going to dive into the product itself to show you what it looks like.
So thanks. We will just jump right into perform2work, and we go right into the performance tab. So as mentioned, the boot time is a really big thing. So we can take a look. So here are always like you can find the same tables again and again with the different information. I think one of the most important ones is, really helpful ones, is the first one in the upper corner, which is about a comparison to the global average. Where does the global average come from? So this is an average from all of our perform2work customers. So there you can see where is your average boot time compared to all of our customers. So here you can see our boot time is about 88 seconds. Compared, the global average is about 68 seconds. So it's a really big difference. So I would really take a deeper look into the boot times. What is wrong here? Is there anything I can change to make, my end users more productive and to not lose really one full-time employee like Caroline mentioned? So to take a deeper look into the analysis, there are a lot of pictures with information available. We take a deeper look into the average boot time and the flop 10 endpoints. So here you can see the endpoints with the worst boot time. So I think these are normally the ones we want to take a deeper look into. So we just click here and jump right into this endpoint. You can already see here in this table the applications which have the most boot impact. So you can see, maybe you can also think about, is Jenkins or WinRAR really an application I want to have in auto start? I think not many end users do really need them from the beginning. They just open it case by case. So this could be already one measure to optimize your boot time. When we're looking into some more details in especially the history of this endpoint, you can also see the development over time. So maybe if you have now removed one of the applications from AutoStart, you can see a drop down. But what you can also see here is what kind of boot was it? Maybe it has been an update boot. So of course, this takes much more time than normal boot. So when maybe one of the end users has complained about, oh, my endpoint has booted so long, like for 5 minutes or something, and you can see, okay, this was just a normal behavior because of the Windows updates. So then this is fine, and you can release the ticket. But back to the other points Caroline mentioned. So for example, the battery health. We can take a look into our environment and have a look into the battery health. So here we can see also, with the red color, which are the really bad endpoints with bad battery. So we want to take, of course, a deeper look into this one. So here we have a first recommendation. So the battery health is really critical, and we are recommending to replace the battery. As you can also see in this picture, it has rapidly lowered, and you also need a lot of cycles to recharge the battery again and again. And I think this is not really good for users who need to work mobile, for example, when they work in the train or something. They can't work like this. So I would really recommend to change the battery. When you're already doing this, and maybe there are some systems where you can't only change the battery, you also need to change the whole system. I would take a deeper look also into the CPU utilization and the memory utilization. When I take a look here, I can see, a really mixed picture, like the utilization is about, somewhere 70, 80%, but also sometimes about 20%. So I think the processor is really suitable here, so nothing to change for the upcoming hardware. Same for the memory. It's the same picture here. I think this is really good suited for this end user. If this would be a picture like it's only 20% utilization all of the time, then I could think about, okay, for the next system, I can really lower the memory and also save really money by this, especially when I think bigger and bigger environments, this could save a lot of money. But so these were like the hardware effects, but I think these are not like the only issues. I think we also have some software facts. So Caroline, what about the software issues?
Exactly, like Sandra mentioned, first we took a look into the hardware problems, but we also have a second side, which is our faulty software versions, our also improvements that we want to achieve through updates, or also like if we want to find out if there are dependencies in software crashes between different software applications. So those are the use cases that we wanted to go through together with you. So the first thing, if we go back to the left side of the slide, faulty software versions, sometimes it's hard to determine as an IT admin if it's a problem on a single endpoint with a single user, or if we have like a massive wildfire spread out in the organization due to a faulty software version. So one problem could be that we have an outdated version that leads to problems for many employees. But as of now, maybe you receive one support ticket from one employee, but it doesn't mean that you actually, see the connection between an old software version and the problems that it's causing throughout the organization. So if you have a software tool like perform2work, you could actually see, like you take, for example, one software, and then you can see in the system all the different software versions that are deployed within the organization. And if you have like an old faulty software version, you can see the crashes and hangs it causes for different employees. And then you can take the version that is not stable anymore and update it to a version which actually is stable. So this is one thing you can do, detect faulty software versions within the organization. Another thing is that if you do those improvements, if you do the updates, you actually want to check if those updates are, successful, if it really helps. And so, for example, if you migrated from Windows 10 to Windows 11 on a certain day, then you actually want to go back and check if the blue screens that were caused by, let's say, Windows 10 beforehand, if they really got solved by migrating to Windows 11. So this is another, like case where you could use perform2work, just checking if your improvements that you made, like that you wanted to achieve with the updates, if that really, came into place. And another thing that you could use perform2work for is to detect dependencies and software crashes, because sometimes, a software crash is not because the software version is faulty or old, but because two softwares are running, or different programs run at the same time that causing problems in the performance of each other. And so let's say you have like a software app crashing always around, let's say, lunch, and you don't know why, then you could actually go into perform2work and check by reviewing the historical data and the time, the times, and check, okay, if there's is there another software that is running at the same time that may cause the problems. Yeah, so those are the three things that you could actually use it for: faulty software versions, improvement through updates, and detect those dependencies that you may not see on the first glance. But also here, we don't want to talk about it only, we want to show it how it's going to look in the product itself. So I'm going to hand over to Sandra again.
Yes, so let's jump back into the software again, into perform2work. And this time we go through the applications tab and just right into the stability. And as Caroline mentioned, there could be some dependencies. So of course we all know there is some issue with that. So, and to see this, we go down to this picture with the crashes by hour. And if we take a closer look and zoom a little bit right into it, we see that around, let's say, lunchtime, there are some more crashes than over the rest of the day. And as I'm a really good admin, I can remember I just scheduled in the Baramundi management suite that around lunchtime, so I think starting at 12, there is a virus scan running, because I thought like, okay, most of my workers are at lunch, so it doesn't bother them. But it seems like it bothers some of other applications. So this is one thing I could check if this is really true, if there is a dependency or not. So this is one thing I could test and set my virus scan at another time to see if then maybe the crashes go down. The other thing mentioned by Caroline is I have there a bigger update which was running because of maybe I had some more blue screens over the time, or I wanted to do the upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11, and I want to see, okay, did this change anything in my environment? Does it maybe improve over the time? And we saw here, okay, the crashes really rapidly grow over the time. In just a small time, and then I updated all of my systems, and then they also went down again. So I think this was a really good thing to do. So the crashes are at 0 again. So I should take a look at it again and again to see if something needs to be changed. But I can also take a deeper look into the applications. And of course, I want to check, okay, if there is one application which is crashing again and again, I want to do something about it so that all of my workers can work again good enough and don't waste time. So let's take a deeper look into Microsoft Word. So I can see all of the endpoints where Word is distributed and also see on which endpoints did it crash. But when I scroll down, I also see a distribution of the different versions. And what I can see here is that the newer versions like 17, 18, they are installed on like 18 systems, but haven't crashed or hanged like once, but the older versions did. So, of course, our recommendation is to update to one of the newer versions. So these were like hardware facts, software facts, but also a lot of us are working remotely in home office or just on the go. So also network is one topic we need to tackle with perform2work. So let's go back. And Caroline, what about the network performance issues?
Yes, thanks, Andrew. So now we're going to talk about the holy trinity of our modern workday. Normally we need 3 things nowadays to work. It's hardware that's functioning, software that doesn't crash, and it's actually a network that we can connect to and work with. And if we can't work properly, or if the network performance is really low or the connectivity is really low, we get a digital back pain, as we call it here. And so with Baramundi perform2work, we wanted to, include network performance, connectivity performance in the product to, make those frustrations visible. And what can you see, or which data will you see? Can you collect within perform2work? So we're talking about Wi-Fi connections, be it, somewhere in a coffee shop or at home. We have latencies and we have unstable VPN connections. And today the end user expects full performance no matter where they are working from. And also I think the company expects end users to work, with good performance wherever they are. So it's really important and crucial to make sure that those connectivity is working. So yes, let's have the last deep dive into our product, and Sandra will walk you through what you can actually see in perform2work regarding network performance.
Okay, so one last step into perform2work, and this time we go again through endpoints and then the connectivity tab and what we can see here right above is already, like mentioned before, in comparison to the global average. So here I can see my Wi-Fi strength is in average in my environment really good. So nothing to worry about in general. We can see what type of network are the different endpoints using. So most of them are using Ethernet. I think could be that they are in the office. Some of them are using Wi-Fi, and also some of them are using mobile network. You can also see right here some more information about the average of latency, jitter, and also packet loss, also by type of network. So is it by Ethernet, Wi-Fi, or mobile? So you can already see here and compare these numbers if there is something you maybe need to focus on. So for example, if especially the Wi-Fi figures are very bad, then you could check, for example, the Wi-Fi hardware you're using. Is it maybe their network infrastructure, or you're also using some older endpoints, which have still the older Wi-Fi standards and not the newest ones. So this already gives you an overview of where to look more into. Of course, we also want, again, to go into one of the endpoints where we have some bad values. So for example, here this PC, which has a very unusable average Wi-Fi strength. And if we take a deeper look into, we see a very red average Wi-Fi strength with a little bit of orange, so never green. So then the second picture is a good consequence of it. So this one is mostly using mobile, as the Wi-Fi is really, really bad. Some more information we get here is the network information. So at first we see the current or last recorded connection, which is here the mobile one, and afterwards it's the other network adapters by usage. One use case, as already mentioned, when one of the employees are reporting, hey, they're in the home office, they can't access the files, you could check, hey, are they connected to the VPN or are they not? If they are not, this would be shown here. So then you could easily tell them, hey, you need to connect to the VPN. If you ask them, some of them don't know where to check if they are connected. So you can see it here just by some clicks and know if this could be an issue or if it's not. When we go more down into the analysis, you can also see a lot of history data. So you can see with which type of network has it been connected, what about the VPN connection, was there maybe some time where it hasn't been connected, how was the connectivity, and if you have a certain point of time where you want to take a deeper look into, you can just click on this day, scroll down a little bit and get all the information, what happened on this specific day. So for example, here the VPN was connected, but just 1 minute later it was disconnected again. If there have been some connection losses and so on. So one important topic to mention here, we are not measuring the internet speed, we're just measuring the network speed. So because we would need much more performance on the endpoints if we would also measure the internet speed. So this should be really just been done case by case. If you see, okay, there is some issue with the internet, it's no network issue, then you could do this case by your own. So one use case, if you see there are some of these endpoints, which have really, really bad Wi-Fi strength like this one, you can say, okay, if they're in the office, you maybe need to, do some work on your network infrastructure, or if they are in the home office, you could tell them, hey, maybe you're sitting too far away from your router, just do something about it. For example, use a repeater so that your Wi-Fi strength gets better. So this was it with the deeper look into the tool. Of course, there could be much more to show, but the time is limited. So we will go back to the slides and just recap what has been done in the first year of perform2work.
Yes, thanks, Sandra. So just to recap shortly, as I mentioned before, like perform2work is constantly evolving. We're constantly working on it and adding new features. But what we did within the first year was we have our hardware and software inventory feature. We can detect blue screens. We have a multi-factor authentication. We have the CPU utilization on display. We have the contextualization of error code. So you actually, get an answer where your error maybe comes from and also get the solution. We have the memory load. And also a really cool feature, in my opinion, is if you are working already with our UEM tool, the Baramundi management suite, you can now, go directly from perform2work into the management suite. So, if you have like an endpoint that, has a problem or you want to update something, you can, and you have it open, like the endpoint open in perform2work, you can do one click and then it will open in the baramundi management suite, and there you can do your updates or remediation or whatever you want to do. But that's a really cool feature. And then we also have the app-based boot times. And of course, the last thing we just showed you, or Sandra showed you, was the connectivity or network performance that we added. But that's not it. As I said, we're always and constantly developing, and there are some cool new features that are about to come within the next few months.
Yes, so of course there are some further development stages in the future, like in the next 1 or 1.5 years. So one thing is the AI root cause analysis. So this will answer the questions like which endpoints are really suspicious and why. We will have an integration with other tools. So there is a strong focus on a seamless information flow between perform2work and external systems, like especially